Hello aspirants and welcome again to Legacy IAS Academy. In this lecture, we will be discussing the pause that USA has put on the visa application. So of course that is going to impact a lot of country around the world, as well as it is going to impact India also. So what this decision is, what does it mean for Indian students who wanted to go abroad to USA, of course, what happens to their visa now, what about the students who are already there in USA and might have applied for the renewal of visa, how does it impact the students, Indian students fraternity presently in India and wanting to go to US, or presently already in US. All this and much more is what we are going to see over here. So what is the news all about? The news is, see, since Donald Trump has come into power in US, he has led a government which is sort of conservative, or his decisions, his implementation is such which is conservative in nature. Deglobalization impact is what it is having. So if you look at his decisions on tariffs, so he increased tariffs in order to safeguard his industry, in order to reduce the import bills, so on and so forth. So a protectionist conservative tendency. Here also he is trying to reduce the immigration that is happening in USA from various countries, and probably this step also is in that direction. So what is the decision that has been taken? The Trump administration on Tuesday, on 27th May, what it did is it directed the American embassies. So what are these? Basically, the countries will have their embassies in other countries. For example, India has its own embassy in USA. We do have embassy in various other countries as well, right? So it has directed its embassies in different countries of the world to, and of course the consulates, to stop the scheduling of new appointments for students. Right? Stop the scheduling means when you apply for a visa, before getting a visa, you are also interviewed. So various organizations do train you for the visa interviews as well. So for that, there needs to be scheduling of that visa. Now that scheduling of the visas for the students and exchange visitor visas have been, the scheduling of those interviews have been stopped by the Trump administration. Right? So now this decision has come in addition to another decision which is already present. What is the other decision that is already present or already being implemented? Is the expansion of the social media screening for international students. So Trump administration previously have already started with the social media screening of the students. Now that is also sort of a hindrance. For example, just by using the social media, the Trump administration can simply reject as many candidates as they want, saying that your social media do not hold the credibility to be allowed in USA. Now, the issue over here is they have not mentioned at all as to what will be objectionable in terms of social media. For example, if you want to go to USA, you will also have to give your social media details right from 2019. So since 2019 till present, if you have multiple accounts, various accounts on different social media platforms, you have to give them all the social media handles to the US administration so that they can screen your social media. Now, the issue over here is what will be seen as objectionable is not told yet. It is not been informed. So anything, there is, whenever India, let's say, achieves a great thing in the field of space, there are USA based journalists also which criticize it. They criticize, saying that India is so poor, so hungry, still you are spending millions of dollars in space research. Why are you doing so? So you might have reacted to that comment, to that post. You might have commented something over there. You might have replied. You might have given a befitting reply to that particular US based organization, person, or a news channel. So will that also be considered as objectionable and I might not be allowed? We are not aware yet what will be objectionable or not. So these are the possible, there is a possibility that these kind of things would be checked in your social media account. However, no certain or objective list has been provided yet. So these two things is what is happening. Now, why is this happening? That is important to understand. What is the reason behind these kind of decisions by the Trump administration? So one of the possible reasons that is being estimated is that there has been a target on the Harvard University. Harvard University is also possibly being targeted because it is alleged that anti-Semitism tendencies have been coming through that. Also from Harvard universities, there has been voices that have been raised against Israel and Israel's, let's say, a bombing of the Gaza Strip. So to curb all those things and to punish the Harvard University, these kind of things have been coming so that Harvard University cannot take in students from abroad. However, students are protesting, saying that Harvard is not Harvard without foreign students. So a punishment and a counter, let's say, revolt or a counter protest is also happening in US at the same time. So this is one possible reason. However, there can be another reason. The other reason is more broad and is based on the latest move to crack down on the immigration that is happening in USA. So possibly by doing this, USA wants to lower the immigration that is happening into USA. However, the counter side of this is, these are all legal migration we are talking about. USA faces a lot of illegal immigrant issue that should be curbed, possibly not this, but this decision can be taken or looked as to be curbing the legal immigration also that is happening. Now the question is, how has USA become such a sought after destination or the top destination for Indian citizens? Yes, it has become top, not the topmost, it is second, but second only to Canada. After Canada, US is the top destination for Indian students. Now why is that? The reason? The reason here ranges for example, there are over 4,000 educational institutions in USA. So the variety is more, different courses are offered, the number is huge. That's one thing. Secondly, many US institutes do not even require IELTS score. What is IELTS? It is an international English language testing system. So you need to give this test or TOEFL or something else to qualify to be studying abroad, right? So you need the proficiency in English or any other language. Now USA does not require this. However, they will still check you for your proficiency in English, but as such, many institutes and universities don't even require IELTS score, so it makes it a bit easier as well. At the same time, there have been active organization of the educational fairs from the USA side, which has attracted Indians a lot. In addition to this, what has happened is there have been a fallout with respect to countries like Canada, Australia and UK. The changes in their policies have seen reduction in the Indians going to these countries, which the benefit of which is now being taken by USA over here. So for example, Canada, they came up with an additional 10% cut in the study visa approvals in 2025. They have reduced the number of students they were approving. So these students will then have an alternative. USA is one great alternative in this regard, of which benefit it is getting. I hope that's clear. Now, if you look at the quantum of students studying in USA, so a total of 1.15 lakh and 1.3 lakh student visas were granted to Indians in 2022 and 23. However, recently it has seen a decline and the number has dropped to 86,000 in 2024. However, still this number is quite high because the numbers for all countries have dropped, right? Generally it has dropped. Okay, it's not that it has dropped only for India. So generally it has dropped. Still, India is ranked first in terms of student visas issued, and it is ahead of China. What does this mean? This means that 82,000 Chinese students are going to study in USA, and from India 86,000 are going, and India holds the highest number of students going to USA. At first place India is there, and at second place is China. Now, the question is with respect to the impact on Indian students. So generally the universities take the intake in the fall semester as well as the spring semester. Now, when it comes to fall semester, majority of the intake is in fall semester. So acceptance rates are high over here. So what impact will it have on the Indian students? Presently, it is unclear. It is actually, if I have to say very clearly, it is quite unclear to what impact it will have, because USA has now just halted it. It has said that it will vet the social media, and it has halted any future scheduling of the interviews. So we are not sure whether this pause will be removed and then restarted, and will this impact in the number of seats or not. That is unclear. In fact, especially with respect to the people or the students who are in USA and need visa renewals, for them also it is unclear as to what the next step will be, and whether they will be deported, or whether their visas will be renewed, or will there be any more stringent things. You know, there's a possibility that you are already in US and studying, and you want the renewal of visa, and then they ask you for your social media account, and then they find something objectionable, and then they probably deport you as well. So things as we speak is quite unclear, as a result of which Indian students who want to go abroad, and more importantly who are presently in USA and have already invested time, money and everything over there, what about them? Right? Even some students who want to grow have paid the visa fees, or probably have also paid their agents, etc., or the organizations. So everyone now is in a dilemma over here. So we'll have to wait and see what the development here is all about. Thank you.